Another video in the Med School 101 series. This video is going to be what is the med school application process like. So the first part, once you have all your prereqs, you're ready to apply to med school, is going to be sending in your application. If you are on a traditional path, you're applying to med school during college, not wanting to take any gap years, you would apply the spring of your junior year of college, because you'll get accepted sometime between fall and spring of your senior year, and then you would start that following fall. So to start med school in the fall of 2026, you would have already applied this past spring in 2025. And there are application systems, that way you don't have to individually send your application to every school. So it's called like AMCAS, I believe it is. That's by the AAMC, and that is for your MD med schools. For your DO med schools, there's another website, which is basically AMCAS, but for osteopathic schools. And then Texas has its own application system. Not all schools in Texas are on there. Like 1 or 2 of the DO schools are on the DO application system, but for most schools in Texas, it is a separate application. You're gonna fill out your application. A lot of it is the basics. They're gonna ask for 10 experiences that were meaningful to you. So those are things like research, shadowing, leadership, blah, blah, blah. So you fill that out. They ask you some more questions, and it changes a little bit every year. And then you're going to have letters of recommendation. So your letter writers will also submit the letters to like a link you give them through the application portal. You send out your application, the earlier the better, because admissions are on a rolling basis. So the earlier you get your name in there, the better generally. Applications are submitted, you're waiting to get secondaries. So secondaries are going to be a separate like miniature application, and that is individual from the school. So if you pass like the criteria, the school likes your initial application, you're gonna get a secondary. You're gonna get a lot more secondaries than you will interviews, because secondaries typically just mean that you met the school's like screening requirements, at least their minimum GPA, at least their minimum MCAT, things of that nature. So for some schools, you don't have to do anything for a secondary except pay an extra fee saying that you're still interested. But for some schools, they will ask you more questions, things that are more specific to the school, things like, why do you want to go here? Do you have any connections to the state? If it's a DO school, they might ask why you are aligning with osteopathic principles, things like that. Some of it is kind of generic, and you can use the same sentiment for multiple schools, but obviously if it's a specific question like why do you like the school in particular, that answer is going to be unique to that school. Some schools will also make you do a situational judgment test, and I'm not sure how many schools are doing this right now. When I applied, I had to do it for 3 schools, I believe. There's one through the AAMC, and then there's also one called Casper. And these aren't really things that you can study for, but they give you different scenarios and see how you would respond. And then they will kind of give you quartiles that you fall in based on that. But like one example for Casper would be they give you a scenario where a good friend of yours in medical school was cheating. So how would you respond to that scenario? And sometimes it's written prompts, sometimes you like speak and record yourself. It just depends. After you get through applications, secondaries,